when I had my first loss. And you get into a space, it's very easy to get into a space of like a depression to a sense, right? But even though you fought a legend like Manny Pacquiao, and a lot of people probably, they wouldn't be that upset. But, how did you take that loss, going through your first loss? That was on of course, a major stage like that.
It was the worst feeling ever. It was the worst feeling, mixed with a little bit of the greatest feeling, right?
Yeah.
To a certain degree, that fight, that build-up, sharing the ring with a real legend, never got to be in the ring with De La Hoya, right? There was a talk of me getting in the ring with Shane Mosley, right? But he chose Canelo Alvarez. Yeah. So when the Mosley-Alvarez fight happened, Golden Boy presented Keith Thurman to him at the same time.
Wow.
That was one, so there's only so much. I was riding on Mayweather's tail, I was riding on him, I was right there. But that's when they elevated me when I got the Robert Guerrero fight to be the champion. They declared me the regular champion, and Floyd got to be the super champion, which made it so that he didn't have to face mandatories, and I had no political pull to force a fight with the money man himself.
For sure.
So there was a time in my career where as I was winning, as I unified, I just thought, well, I have to be the best of my generation, and I don't get the other generation. I don't get to partake in that other generation.
Yeah.
So in 2019, when the phone call finally came through for the opportunity to fight Manny Pacquiao, it was like, man, I don't get Floyd, I get Pac-Man. And it was just a dream come true.
Yeah.
We loved him, respect him, but he's too nice, so I had to act like I hated him, Thank you, Manny. Oh my God, this is the best fight I ever got. You're amazing, Manny. Like I could not do that,
Yeah.
So I had to be the guy that's like, this is what Thurman gets for talking trash. I talk trash for entertainment and entertainment purposes only.
Everybody.
Do not copy this at home. This here is for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah.
I mean, because he's a legend. How do you really hate on a fighter who came from the Philippines, who, this is what I love about boxing as a worldwide sport. We don't know where the next champion's coming from. China, Japan, Philippines, Mexico, Puerto Rico, Cuba, Russia, Czechoslovakia. We don't know where these champions are coming from. And what Pacquiao did was he brought a whole nation into the sport. One man pulls a whole nation into the sport, and to this day, I have a plethora of Filipino fight fans, but back to your topic, unfortunately for me, I think a lot of it had to do with my age, the space that I was in.
So did you move into a dark place at all? Find that?
It got very dark, it got very dark, for two reasons. There was a loss, but my hand was injured all 2019, and I knew I was going to have hand surgery.
Yeah.
And so I was very insecure. Though the doctor said it was a minor surgery, and it's been perfectly fine ever since 2019, the fear that I had going into the surgery, the fight happened, I believe, in July, August, September. I think by September, I'm in LA to get hand surgery,
Yeah.
And then my hand's in a cast. I'm worried about the recovery, the rehab. I'm depressed. I'm paid, but like I'm depressed. I'm depressed. And then my wife just came to America. The first fight she ever got to witness in person was the Manny Pacquiao fight.
Yeah.
So she just came to America, and I did my camp, here. I've never not done camp here. If there's any regret I have, it's not relocating for that one camp.
Yeah.
Because the fight was big enough. I should have honored it. I always said if I had to fight Floyd, I would have done X, Y, Z.
For sure.
So the fact that I didn't treat Pacquiao like Floyd, that was on me.
Right.
That was on me. But, the fight was such a close fight.
It
That's
was-
what you don't
it was-
want.
it was
You don't
definitely a close
You don't
fight.
want that close fight against
Definitely.
a legend. He got the knockdown, which gives him the extra point.
Yeah.
He wiggled his way through. But like you said, when you in the ring and Thurman's throwing him a hand, boom, boom, bop. How many times have you seen somebody win a fight and they're the first one to leave the press conference?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah,
Man had to go.
for sure.
Man had to go lay down. He said, "Look,
for
thank
sure.
you, everybody, fans. I just fought Keith Thurman.
Yes, we definitely
I'm
thought-
done, y'all. I got that W. I'm going to lay down.
You
You
just
know."
had to do that.
And it was, as much as I was like proud of myself, you know, because a lot of times Ben had a saying, "There are no rematches." You know, and so I did not put in a rematch clause as champion, which was clearly my right.
Yeah.
Right. I did not put in a rematch clause. I knew I was going to need the surgery, so I was worried that the recovery was going to be too long, that even if there was a clause, maybe they could have wiggled their way out, but I should at least had it there for them to have, you know, to give me some political pool. So there's a lot of things in the sport that sometimes you don't realize where you made a mistake till much later, you know?
Yeah.
But I remember being in LA and my hand was in a little soft cast and my wife could clearly see my emotions, right?
Pissed.
Clearly. And this is like 2 months after the fight.
Yeah.
Clearly, like it has not changed, right? I'm sour, right? Like, and so she said, in her own words, "It's just a game."
Ooh.
Black!
Woo.
Black! I'm telling you.
Woo.
I was like, "You gonna have to walk away from me right now."
That's a rough. Woo. It's just a game. That's a.
Yo.
Boy.
And then the crazy thing is, though, as I calmed down, I was able to like kind of hear her words,
Yeah.
you know? And like, unfortunately, you know, she was right. The most important thing would have been to get back.
Yeah.
But what happened was after 2019, we rolled into 2020.
Yep.
And when 2020 hit, we all got hit with the COVID.
And with COVID.
Right? And then athletes were performing without fans.
Yep.
I get the phone call from Mama Sills saying, "Hey, Keith, we have an offer for you in Fox Studios with no fans."
Wow.
I just fought Manny Pacquiao in a packed arena,
Yeah.
and I didn't even ask, "Who do you want me to fight? How much are you willing to pay?"
Yeah.
The conversation took less than 3 minutes. I said, "This sounds like the most boring thing you ever."
Wow.
I said, "Click."
Wow.
And who was to know the repercussions of such a move?
That's a fact.
And so who got to fight in Fox Studios with no fight fans?
What was that?
Showtime Sean
It
Porter.
was Sean Porter.
It was Sean Porter.
It was Sean Porter that
Yep.
did. Wow.
And
Okay.
so
Wow.
this,
I didn't know that.
ever since 2019, there's been a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah, kind of.
But, you know, I'm still here, luckily healthy,
Yeah.
holding it down,
Yeah.
37,
Yeah.
and gunning for the towering inferno himself for that WBC world
You
title.
need to get that.